So I jump in the shower and I'm washing frantically, just hurrying up to get ready. And all of a sudden I felt this thing on my body that did not feel quite right. And it was actually a lump in my right breast. You know, I never thought that this would happen to me. I was born in Michigan and I attended Michigan State University. And I majored there in clinical laboratory science and worked in lab work for about 12 years. And so I really had a pretty ordinary life. I met my husband in college and we got married, and we actually moved to California. We had 3 children, and I decided to stay home and homeschool them. So I homeschooled them for a number of years, and they were actually entering adulthood. And so I thought, I kind of want to do something different, a different kind of career, but I wasn't really sure what. And so then fast forward to Father's Day, 2014. And that was actually a day that I'll never forget. And I was rushing around as always. I don't know why, I always wait till the last minute to write out the card and to wrap the gift. And I was running behind, and we had to travel to go see my dad and my sister in Simi Valley, which is a few miles from our house. And so I'm rushing around thinking, okay, I'll just jump in the shower and I will just get ready and we'll make it on time. So I jump in the shower and I'm washing frantically, just hurrying up to get ready. And all of a sudden I felt this thing on my body that did not feel quite right. And it was actually a lump in my right breast. And it was one of those moments where I just had that kind of overwhelming feeling that this was probably not going to be good. But I never thought that I would get cancer. I mean, it's really not in my family. And up until that moment, I really thought I was living a pretty healthy lifestyle. I mean, I had just lost some weight. I was playing tennis almost every day. I was eating a lot of fruits and veggies and feeling really good, drinking tons of green tea, right? Because they were saying drink a lot of green tea and you'll be really healthy. And so, they ran a bunch of tests. It came back and it was malignant. So it was the thing that no one ever wants to hear, that they have cancer. But not really in my family. My mom actually died of not breast cancer, but cancer. It had metastasized through her whole body just the year before I was diagnosed. But she had smoked for like 60 years. And so, we kind of thought, yeah, of course, if you smoke for 60 years, you might end up with cancer. So it really wasn't other than that in our family. And so I didn't really think that I would get cancer. Well, when I received the diagnosis, it was like a tidal wave hit me. I was so overwhelmed, and I was there alone because I just kept thinking this is going to be nothing. And so I just, heard the information and thought, okay, well, I'm just going to have to deal with this. But it really sent me on a journey that actually turned out to be kind of a good thing, believe it or not, in my life. My life is completely different now than before I had my diagnosis. And this is why I say sometimes, things happen in life that you don't expect, but good things can come of them. Because through my cancer journey, I went through a lot of treatment. I had chemotherapy, I had radiation, and I had surgery. And so I had a lot of downtime and recovery time. And so during that time, I read a lot of books because I love to read. And so there was one book in particular that I found, and it was all about your self-talk, that little voice that you have going on in your head that goes on. And I learned that we all have it, that you have it, I have it, we all have it. And it's called self-talk. And I realized that my self-talk was really negative in a lot of different ways. And I never knew that before. And what I didn't know also was that you could change this, that I wasn't just a victim of this self-talk, that I could actually change what was going on, and that I could actually change my brain by different techniques. And so I learned these things and I practiced them. And I tell you, my recovery sped up in an amazing way. And I had so much energy. I felt better than I ever had felt before. And so that then prompted me to go and get training to become a life coach. And I specialize in teaching people self-talk. And then because of the cancer journey that I've been through, I now am a cancer journey success coach. And I've developed a program that I want to help people who are facing the diagnosis of cancer to not just survive, but to thrive. Everything starts with the mind. Everything starts with a thought in your brain. And then when you think enough of a certain thing, it will become a belief. And when you have a belief, then your actions become habits, and then that becomes your life. And so everything starts with that. And so to maintain a healthy lifestyle, you really have to start there with what are you telling yourself? You know, if you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm so fat, or oh my gosh, everything I eat goes to my hips. When you're telling yourself that kind of stuff, then guess what? That's what ends up playing out in your life. And so it's really important to have the right mindset to start there. One of the things that I've had to do while I'm still on my treatment is I have to take a drug called tamoxifen. And one of the first things that the doctors told me is this drug, unfortunately, has a side effect of you're going to have weight gain around your middle. Okay, well, you know, as a woman around 50-ish, I already was kind of dealing with that. And so I'm thinking, oh my gosh, okay, fine. You know, weight gain around the middle. At least I'm still alive. That's wonderful. And so then over the last year or so, I started thinking, you know what? I wonder how many people get that weight gain around their middle. How many women, because they have this negative thinking. And so they're just eating whatever because they're feeling sorry for themselves. And so I thought, you know what? I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to prove that that doesn't have to be. And that I am going to lose the weight around the middle, and that I'm not going to gain weight around the middle. And a big part of that is with regular exercise. And you know what? If you don't exercise right now, I'm not really big on exercise, but I love tennis. But tennis I found is really hard on my body. So I've now taken up walking, which I absolutely love. Anything that's low impact, because tamoxifen also affects the joints and you can have joint pain. So I'm looking for more low impact exercise like walking. And walking has been proven to be one of the most effective forms of exercise. And it's so easy, you can do it anywhere. And just to start small, because this is another thing that people do. They don't walk at all, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm going to do 7 days a week, an hour a day. And you cannot go from nothing to that huge of an amount. So just to start small and just to take little steps. Even put I read this somewhere, put your shoes next to your bed, and that'll remind you to walk every day. And even if you don't put the shoes on, your brain will start to register, I need to walk every day, and you'll start telling yourself good things. So now I'm a cancer journey success coach, and I have actually developed a program, which is what I was looking for when I was going through treatment and I couldn't find. And conventional medicine, they treat you very well for your physical body, but I found that the mental part of it was really huge and getting through that. And so the program that I've developed now is to help women, especially who are facing breast cancer, how to thrive. And so the program that I've developed, it's called Cruising Through Cancer, from tidal wave to tropical lagoon. And it's a 7-step program that I help and guide you through as a cancer journey success coach. And it's everything that I wanted that I couldn't find myself. And I really know that this is what can help a lot of people. And especially with the hardest part, which are the mental, I call it the mess, mental, emotional, and spiritual shock that occurs with a diagnosis of cancer. Well, if someone has just been diagnosed with breast cancer, the first thing that I would tell them to do is to get a support system together. And this is really, really important, to reach out to people, because when someone says they have cancer, what do you say? It's kind of awkward, isn't it? I mean, people want to say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But when you're feeling really bad yourself, the last thing you want to hear is how bad it's making everybody else feel. And so the best thing that you can do as people helping people who have been diagnosed, and then the same way with if you've been diagnosed, is to just find people that can help you and tell them what you need. And tell them that sometimes I might not feel up to returning your call, and sometimes I might not be able to go to the movies or whatever it is. And sometimes people want to cook you food, and when you're going through treatment, you might not want to eat a lot of the foods that they don't know. They just bring whatever. And so I recommend that they actually make a list of exactly what they need and give that to people. I think people would really greatly appreciate that, and that they can help in that way. And that's huge. And so I would start there. And I actually, in my program, have a worksheet that I have every one of my clients fill out that does that very thing, that prompts them through the questions of what kind of need, what kind of help do you need, and how can you get that out to people. I want to talk about now exercise during treatment and shortly after, because when you're going through, especially chemotherapy, or any kind of really difficult situation where it's a mental, it plays a role on you as far as your mental capacity to deal with it, exercise is a huge benefit. And so it's really important to not overdo it, first of all. So I actually worked with a personal trainer all the way through my treatment. And even when I was the weakest, she helped and encouraged me. And it was so important for me to continue some kind of exercise, because another side effect of going through all of this is that you can have neuropathy that develops. And neuropathy is when the nerves kind of end up dying in the extremities, like in your feet and those parts of your body. And so my doctor said that, exercise is the key to this, but you might not feel like exercising. But I got out there and did whatever I could, even if it was just walking out to the mailbox and back. And guess what? I had zero neuropathy. And that's one of the really common side effects. And so I really highly encourage, and my trainer lady says the same thing, that her name's JoJo, that because of all the exercise you did, that's why you did so well. And I really do believe that.